Shall I do the thing? Hello everyone, welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. It is day one of the new Formula One season. I say day one, it's the first day that we've had track action. So this is the first time we've actually got to see this year's cars and the rookie drivers, and it's been an interesting day, Phil.
It has been, it really has. And it's about time we get some answers. I know Friday practice is always murky with fuel loads and power levels, but I think we got a reasonable idea of what people are up to.
Right, should we start at the top?
Yeah, let's start at the top.
Let's start at the top. I mean, obviously all the talk coming into this season was McLaren. They finished the season so strongly. They looked really good during pre-season testing in Bahrain, and they seem to have carried that forward. You know, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, not only looking quick, but also reliable as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everybody was expecting McLaren to be ahead. We just didn't know by how much. I think it's pretty clear that they are the team to beat here. I know Ferrari was topping FP2 with Charles Leclerc, but if you look at long runs, it still seems like McLaren does have the edge.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are, for the moment, living up to the hype.
Yeah.
We'll see in qualifying if they can keep there.
There are loads of papaya caps here, aren't there?
Yeah.
I mean, the Oscar Piastri effect is huge, but obviously Lando Norris is very popular across the world. I was a little bit amazed by how many McLaren fans are here. They seem to have ditched the Red Bull outfits from a few years ago with Daniel Ricciardo, and they've all bought papaya. It's really quite impressive.
Yeah, and this is Ferrari land as well, isn't it? So many Italian immigrants here, a very big community. I was standing at turn 9 and turn 10 earlier, and it's like a 50-50 split of papaya, orange, and red caps. So it's some divided loyalties. I saw people with Ferrari caps and Piastri t-shirts, so I'm not sure how that goes down, but...
You mentioned Ferrari.
Yeah.
How do we think they've done? It seemed to be a bit of a slow start for Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, this is his first proper outing in the Ferrari. We keep saying that, but this is the first of the practice sessions. He went okay in the afternoon session. It was a bit of a mixed day, shall we say?
I think so. Yeah, slow start, but he got there. He's trying to find his feet. Obviously, Charles is dialed in a bit more with that team, with his engineering staff. So yeah. He's getting there. I think Lewis has a good start. It's again, are they going to be good enough to beat McLaren? Probably not, but we'll see.
We could have mixed weather, couldn't we? This is the thing. Yeah. Tomorrow, Saturday, it's supposed to be boiling hot, 37 degrees here. And then Sunday, it's forecast to rain. So,
and it's forecast to rain a lot. Which is good news because this is not the best track for overtaking, as we know. So a little bit of rain to spice it up. I'll tell you who will be very happy with rain as Red Bull, because they are a little bit in doldrums with their setup. The car is still quite nervous. Liam Lawson in particular has been struggling today. I was watching him in FP1 in turn 1 and turn 2. He's like bouncing over the curves pretty much every lap. He's really almost every driving it, you would say, as he tries to find his feet.
Is he trying too hard, do you think? Is that what's happening? You know, he's a replacement for Sergio Perez. Yeah. He knows he's got to deliver. He knows there's pressure within the system. Is he just trying too hard?
It looks like, if you look at it, at how he's driving the onboards, it does look like he's overdriving a bit, which it doesn't need to do. I mean, he just needs to, keep it tidy. I do think he needs to tighten up his game a little bit. But he's got FP3 to do that, and then we'll see.
The reigning world champion as well.
Reigning world champion, yeah. Even he wasn't too happy with the car. It looks like, speaking to Helmut Marko earlier, they are lacking 2 to 3 tenths per lap to McLaren. So they know they don't have the quickest car.
Yeah.
What I will say is they looked worse today than you normally do. Because we don't always know the fuel load, but we know that traditionally Red Bull always run high fuel on the Fridays. So they were behind Racing Bulls there. This is the team, for example.
Yeah.
Racing Bulls was running very low fuel, so I think that will normalize itself tomorrow.
Yeah, you mentioned Racing Bulls. I thought Isack Hadjar did really well today. He sort of was, of all the rookies, the one that I was most impressed with. I was expecting to see, a Kimi Antonelli maybe up there, maybe an impressive performance from Bearman, who we'll come on to in a minute. Yeah. But no, it was actually Hadjar, the 11th hour signing for Racing Bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to quite a few people within Red Bull, outside Red Bull. Everybody was quite impressed with Hadjar. As Marko said as well, calm, fast, no mistakes. That's exactly what he needed to do. And again, the low fuel load is probably flattering them a little bit, but he's made a really good start.
Yeah,
and
it's
nice
good
to
for
see.
confidence, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing. And if we're talking about confidence, we've got to talk about Kimi Antonelli, because he had a bit of a poor start. And I think that he's got a big task ahead of him. He's filling the shoes of Lewis Hamilton in that cockpit in the Mercedes. But he did struggle today.
Yeah, and we spoke about it yesterday. George Russell said, I don't expect to be much quicker than him, but it's the experience, getting up to speed, building up that weekend, and not making mistakes. Those are the sort of things where experience matters a whole lot. So, as with Lawson, Kimi's got a bit of work cut out to tighten up his game. Yeah.
Crashes. There was one. Ollie Bearman, we mentioned him earlier on. A little bit unfortunate with when it happened into the barriers. Caused quite a bit of damage to that Haas, but they did turn it around for the second session. But a little bit of a blow perhaps to his confidence.
And possibly. I mean, it was a driver error. He admitted as much. He says he actually felt quite comfortable in the car, so he was not like he was completely lacking comfort. But it's tiny little driver error with big consequences.
It's when he was pushing, wasn't it? I think that's the thing. He was on a push lap. He hasn't had much experience in that Haas of being able to push.
No, and he's barely done any low fuel runs in Bahrain either. So he did come here with on the back foot, lacking a bit of experience on how that would feel in this car. So it's not the best weekend for Haas so far. Ocon as well, his teammate, didn't completely complete his run plan today with some various issues, and it does look like they are struggling for pace a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've got the rookies that are coming in, but it is those, you mentioned experience, it is that experience which is so vital, and that is what we're seeing, I think, at Williams, because we've got Carlos Sainz very quick this morning, quite a solid performance in the afternoon. Generally speaking, though, Williams can be happy with their first day. I
think so. I think they'll be very happy tonight. If you look at their long run pace, it seems to be stabilizing. I think they are the team to beat in the midfield, so behind the top four.
Well, I mean, we talk about a development race, don't we, over the season, and I think it's so important that Williams had all those problems last year, of all the crashes, which cost them so severely. If they can get a lot of points on the board early on, start that momentum, keep it clean for the rest of the season, then they could be in the mix with some solid points and a good finish this year.
It was really here last year where it sort of unraveled with all the crashes from both Albon and Logan Sargent, and it sort of spiraled out of control with the spare parts situation. So having two experienced drivers there, Carlos Sainz was really impressive, I thought, so far. He seems to have taken well to life at Williams, having to move down from Ferrari. So
Sauber, fairly anonymous day.
Although Nick Hülkenberg was quite quick in FP2. Again, I don't have any information about their fuel loads. Personally.
And Alpine was a fairly pretty anonymous performance, I think.
I personally had Alpine around Williams' level, maybe even ahead of them. We're not really seeing that. I do think Jack Doohan has had a pretty clean, pretty decent start, sort of keeping up with Pierre Gasly. But I think they were probably expecting a little bit more.
And also Adrian Newey started work, didn't he, at Aston Martin. He's had no influence on this car whatsoever, and we were told today that he will not be working on the 25 car for the foreseeable future.
For the moment.
Because he'll be working on 2026 car. But I do wonder whether, if they have a start like they had today, which was, again, unimpressive, whether they would be asking him to maybe come off that project and maybe help out for 25.
Well, given his start date, it makes sense that he's just plugged into the 26 car project straight away. But
they can't afford to throw another season away, can they?
And if you are struggling with the 25 car, and next door in the office you've got Adrian Newey, you're like, hey Adrian, would you mind having a little look, see what you think? I mean, why wouldn't you?
You would. And I think that was probably Red Bull's luxury. Maybe they didn't know it, but it was always reassuring. It was another pair of hugely experienced eyes to run something by. Is it worthwhile doing? And he gave you the reassurance to go down that route with development. And I wouldn't be surprised if Aston do pull him off that project.
I mean, you look at Fernando Alonso, he's already fed up, it seems. He's very short with the media. He's talking about having time, needing patience, but he doesn't have time, right?
24 race season. It's a long one if you're going to be stuck near the back of the grid, and I think that he knows there is potential, but he wants to see the team deliver. So, anyone else we've covered?
I think those are the main storylines for today. Mercedes, as we haven't covered them as a whole too much. I'm a little bit in the dark about them because they didn't seem to really progress going from the medium tyre to the soft tyre. So
yeah, the tyre's going to be interesting. We mentioned before with the change in temperatures, it could all change come Saturday when they're running on wets anyway. So it's going to be really interesting. Check back tomorrow. We will have a full review after qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix.